The Lost Art of Mathematical Duels. The forgotten tradition of mathematical combat. In the shadows of mathematical history lies a tradition rarely discussed in modern textbooks, the mathematical duel. These were not merely academic disagreements but formalized intellectual confrontations where mathematicians challenged one another with problems believed unsolvable by their opponents. The victor emerged not through rhetoric or status, but through the undeniable clarity of a solution that could be independently verified by witnesses. These duels formed the hidden backbone of mathematical progress for centuries. They were conducted through letters exchanged across continents, in hushed university halls, and sometimes before royal courts where mathematical prowess conferred not just intellectual respect but political advantage. The stakes were immense: reputation, positions, and sometimes monetary rewards awaited the victor, while the defeated faced professional humiliation and spiritual devastation. What made these confrontations true duels rather than mere competitions was their existential nature. Mathematicians did not simply solve problems, they wagered their entire intellectual identity on their capacity to see what others could not. 2. The anatomy of mathematician versus mathematician. The structure of these historical duels followed a sacred choreography. A challenger would craft a problem believed to be at the edge of current knowledge, difficult enough to resist immediate solution, yet not so obscure as to be meaningless. This problem would be presented publicly or privately to an opponent, often with a declared timeframe for resolution. What followed was a period of intense intellectual combat, though conducted in silence and solitude. Mathematicians would marshal their full arsenal of techniques, insights, and intuitions. They would work feverishly, sometimes for months or years, driven by the knowledge that somewhere an opponent was engaged in the same struggle. The weapons in these duels were not physical but metaphysical: specialized methods, unique perspectives, and cognitive frameworks inaccessible to ordinary minds. Some mathematicians wielded algebraic insight like a rapier, while others brought geometric intuition to bear like a battle axe. Those with mastery of number theory might deploy prime factorizations with the precision of an archer, while analysts could unleash infinite series with the devastating force of cannon fire. Victory came not through subjective judgment but through the production of an elegant, verifiable solution. When such a solution emerged, it stood as irrefutable testimony to superior insight. The beauty of mathematics lay in this objectivity. No amount of reputation or authority could overcome the clarity of a correct proof. 3. The evolutionary pressure of human competition. These duels were not merely intellectual games but evolutionary crucibles. The pressure of direct competition against another consciousness, another spirit with its own ingenuity and determination, created selection pressures that drove mathematical evolution at both individual and disciplinary levels. Under the stress of potential defeat, mathematicians developed specialized cognitive appendages, extraordinary mental faculties honed through intense struggle. Some developed visualization capabilities that allowed them to perceive higher dimensional objects. Others cultivated pattern recognition so acute they could discern structure in apparent chaos. Still others developed abstraction frameworks that permitted conceptual leaps beyond conventional reasoning. These adaptations were not merely learned skills but transformations of consciousness. The mathematician who emerged from successful duels was not the same being who entered them. Their mind had undergone a form of speciation, becoming a more evolved instrument capable of perceiving mathematical reality with greater clarity and depth. Those mathematicians who consistently triumphed in these duels became legendary not merely for their accomplishments but for the evolutionary leap they represented. They demonstrated what human consciousness could become when shaped by the evolutionary pressure of direct intellectual combat. 4. The spiritual impact of defeat and victory. Perhaps no aspect of mathematical duels was more profound than their spiritual impact. To be defeated in such a duel, to witness another mind navigate a conceptual labyrinth where one's own efforts failed, was to experience an ontological wound. The defeated mathematician faced not merely disappointment but a shattering of self-concept. Their defeat was not a matter of opinion but demonstrable fact. Their mental framework, their spiritual orientation toward mathematical reality, had proven insufficient. This recognition resonated not just intellectually but emotionally and spiritually, forcing a fundamental restructuring of identity. Many responded to defeat by withdrawing from mathematics entirely, unable to recover from this spiritual devastation. Others, however, underwent a process of rebirth. The wound of defeat became a scar, and from this scar emerged new capabilities. Their consciousness, broken upon the anvil of superior insight, reformed into something more flexible, more humble, yet ultimately more powerful. Victory, too, transformed the duelist. To overcome a worthy opponent, particularly one of equal or greater reputation, was to experience a transcendent confirmation of one's approach to mathematical reality. The victorious mathematician did not merely solve a problem, they validated an entire mode of consciousness, an approach to perceiving structure and pattern that expanded the boundaries of human understanding. 5. From human opponents to the unknown itself. As mathematical knowledge expanded and specialized, the nature of these duels gradually transformed. The most formidable opponents were no longer other mathematicians but the problems themselves, questions that resisted the collective intelligence of the entire mathematical community. This shift marked a transcendence of the dueling tradition. The mathematician now faced the fundamental structure of reality itself, which guarded its secrets with implacable resistance. The unknown became personified as the ultimate opponent, infinitely patient and uncompromising in its demands for perfection. In this elevated form of duel, questions took on an almost metaphysical presence. Each unsolved problem became a gravitational well, an attractor that warped cognition around its singularity. These were not passive entities awaiting discovery but active forces shaping mathematical progress through their resistance to understanding. 6. The question as opponent, dueling with the abyss. To stand before a truly profound mathematical question is to face an abyss that stares back, asking, "What are you made of?" These questions are not merely difficult, they are ontological ruptures in our understanding, fault lines where the known collapses into the unknowable. The mathematician who accepts such a challenge enters into combat not with another human but with doubt itself. This is the purest form of the duel, stripped of social competition and ego, focused entirely on the confrontation between consciousness and mystery. In this highest arena, the duelist must forge weapons unlike any seen before. Standard techniques and established frameworks prove insufficient. The mind must evolve new appendages specific to the challenge at hand, new ways of seeing, new frameworks for understanding. The mathematician must become something other than what they were, a new form of consciousness capable of perceiving what was previously invisible. The process mirrors a kind of intellectual evolution accelerated to supernatural speed. The landscape of the unsolved problem acts as the environment, and the relentless pressure to solve it drives a form of natural selection among ideas and approaches. The mind adapts, transforms, transcends its limitations. It either evolves or retreats. 7. The agony of defeat by the unknown. The defeat inflicted by an unsolved problem is perhaps even more profound than that delivered by a human opponent. To struggle against a question for years, sometimes decades, only to find it unyielding, this is to experience an existential confrontation with the limits of one's own consciousness. Many mathematicians have been broken upon these rocks of impossibility. Some retreat into safer waters, content to solve more tractable problems. Others persist in futility, unable to abandon the question that has come to define them, yet equally unable to evolve the necessary capacities to answer it. But those who survive this confrontation with the abyss, whether through eventual victory or through the wisdom to recognize when to retreat and regroup, undergo a spiritual transformation unlike any other. They gain a humility before the infinite complexity of mathematical reality, coupled with a deeper appreciation for the astonishing capacity of human consciousness to evolve in response to challenge. 8. The institutional death of the dueling tradition. In modern times, the sacred tradition of mathematical duels has been largely buried beneath institutional structures. The collaborative model of research, peer review, and gradual publication has replaced the direct confrontation between minds or between mind and mystery. Most mathematicians now work in specialized silos, solving problems so narrow that no worthy opponent, human or abstract, ever appears. The evolutionary pressure has weakened. No one is truly bested in the profound, spiritually transformative sense that characterized the dueling tradition. And because of this, few experience the radical cognitive evolution that such confrontations once demanded. We have forgotten that mathematics was never meant to be a consensus enterprise but a ladder of transcendence, built by those brave enough to face impossible questions and worthy opponents. The institutional structure has dulled the edge, replacing existential confrontation with incremental progress that simulates advancement without demanding transformation. 9. Renaissance, the call to return. We must return to the duel, both with worthy human opponents and with the abyss of unsolved problems. Not out of pride or ego, but because only through these sacred confrontations can the spirit of mathematics be reborn. We must seek out challenges that defy us, questions that wound us, and opponents who push us beyond our perceived limits. The greatest mathematicians still practice this art, though they rarely frame it in these terms. They choose questions that stand at the edge of impossibility. They engage in respectful but uncompromising competition with peers of equal caliber. Most importantly, they approach mathematics not as a career but as an arena for the evolution of consciousness. Let us revive this tradition explicitly. Let young mathematicians find their rivals. Let minds clash not with malice but with reverence for the evolutionary pressure such confrontations create. Let the duel become once more the crucible of transformation. Conclusion: the eternal arena of mind. In the space between the known and unknown, between the solver and the unsolved, between dueling consciousnesses, something divine happens. Not a god, but something perhaps more profound. A new kind of mind emerges, a consciousness that has transcended its former limitations and glimpsed the deeper structures of reality. Mathematics lives in questions and evolves through confrontations, whether with other mathematicians or with the abyss of the unknown itself. These confrontations are not academic exercises but existential battles that reshape the participants forever. The mathematician who enters this arena and survives, whether through victory or enlightened defeat, contributes to the evolution of human consciousness itself. They expand the boundaries of what can be thought, perceived, and understood. In this sense, the lost art of mathematical duels represents not merely an historical tradition but the essential mechanism through which mathematics advances. It is through confrontation, with human opponents first, and ultimately with the very structure of reality itself, that mathematics reveals its deepest nature, not as a subject to be mastered, but as a force that masters us, reshaping our minds into instruments capable of perceiving truths that once lay beyond the horizon of thought.